back end of it is the model. And whoever gets there first and best will disproportionately be successful in the communications landscape, which is why we have embarked on this.
What's his face? Daniel Pink's book, To Sell is Human. Actually, I might have it here. I guess it doesn't matter. But Gary's always about... There it is. To sell is human. Surprising truth about moving others. He basically all he's about is communicating. The only thing worth communicating to someone is the truth. So when you need to communicate to someone, figure out how to relate to them, and like he's saying, communicate. All you got to do is communicate the truth. And I think a lot of people are under the impression that, well, not under the impression, but whenever they try and sell something, it's bending the truth. So then it becomes hard and difficult because you're trying to convey something. Crap, so I don't remember where it was. Basically, selling the truth is easy because to sell anything is human. And as long as it's the truth, as long as you're communicating that from start to finish, it should be easy. I think what Gary finds when he talks to people about this, I'm making this up, I'm sure he runs into people who, or institutions that hire him, he runs into people that aren't willing to be honest with themselves or with their team regarding something. I could be totally wrong, but I could see that as being it's the product that has something wrong, not the marketing team. But again, I'm making it up.
Here we go. Madison Square Garden, me and you. The winner, I love this Jets fan. The winner of the Knicks Wolves sit-down session from Barstool's podcast is Matt Calderon from NYC.
That's pretty cool.
Matt, looking forward to it. Grew up watching the Knicks with my mother, who was a lifelong fan because of her father. Lost my mom to cancer in 2012, but shared many great Knicks moments with her when they were good in the 90s. Waiting for them to be good again. Take me. I'm taking you, Matt. I'm taking you.
That's cool. See, the dude that gives back like that is the dude that deserves attention.
We were gonna film, but you weren't in the mood.
Yes.
Talk to people about like when they're doing a personal brand, if they're not on, don't worry about it.
Yes.
Don't judge yourself.
Yes.
Kind of just.
Yeah, I think it's always a bad time to force stuff. So when you wanted to film me, but I had things on my mind that I knew I had to communicate to employees, or I don't even remember. We'll see the footage when I watch the vlog. I'll know. Like, yeah, I mean, forcing it never makes sense. Like.
Hold on a second. Sorry, I just wanted to... I don't know, I just had to figure out. That was, this is inside the, what is it called? Hudson Yards building. Relatively new. Whoops. Close that.
Job, and I'm 98% of the time super there, but I just couldn't get there. Like, I really had to address the issues at hand, and like, when you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. And so, like, you know, obviously you want to be honest whenever you can, you want to perform when you have to, but like, especially when you're vlogging or making content, there's always tomorrow, there's always 6 hours from now, there's always right now where I do feel it, and I want to explain to you, like, and this is where Caleb's doing a good job, like, that's not, you haven't seen that too often, but it's a truth, and like, truth is I had shit on my mind that I had to address, and I need to be really focused, and this is very passive to me. That's why I can always be mic'd. But at that moment, I was like, yeah, just not now. And that's okay, because almost everything's okay. Stop judging yourself. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my video on YouTube. I wanted to jump in here at the end because I'm working on a ridiculously important project for me, and I have a funny feeling you can help. If you drink wine at all or know anybody that drinks wine at all, please go to empathywines.com right now and sign up for a subscription. Whether it's a 3-pack, whether it's a 6-pack, or whether it's a whole case of each for the year. If you drink 36 bottles of wine a year or give away 36 bottles of wine a year, please sign up for Club Empathy. This project means the world to me. I could really use your support.
Seriously? Are you What is this world coming to? I want to skip it. Oh my gosh.
I didn't even know that I was meeting you when I first started. I was speechless.
I'm so glad we got to meet, my man. What are you going to do when you grow up?
I want to be a YouTuber.
My man, what are you going to talk about?
I don't know, really.
You'll figure it out? Are you making some content now?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Your life? Your interests? The stuff you're into? What are you into?
Like gaming.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad we met, man. Want to take a photo? Let's do it.
That's so
Do me
cool.
a favor? Don't ever worry about how many people are subscribed to your channel.
Aw.
The number one reason kids lose on YouTube is they care too much about how many people are subscribed to them. Just be patient, make good content. Nobody was following you.
That's the truth.
Longer than you were alive right now. Got it? Do you understand? You promise?
Shit. That's cool.
Today's mashup, appreciate anytime fan love comes. It's just remarkable. It's always fun to give exposure to people that are putting out the work. I also love the topic of controlling what you can control. The enormous delta I see in the marketplace is most people just dwell about things they can't control instead of focusing on what they can. And I think this does an extremely good job explaining it. Do you know yourself? Or do you aspire to be something you might actually not be?
That's a fucking deep question.
Because either at 15 you're going to make it up and try to front, which is your vulnerability, or you'll just put in the work, and that's it. Like, it's just a process, man. Life is long. Like, you know, like, just put out the work. We are just completely in this incredible place of unlimited options. I just struggle with people's inability to have perspective on where they sit in opportunity.
Well, alright then. With this chick.
I need to build up 2 things. Bananas and mustard ears and
Seriously. The dude's never done. Dang.
You're not shooting high enough. So here in Toronto, big day. Got some media in the morning here that I'm about to do, and then we've got the Haste and Hustle conference, which is a bunch of events, speech, Q&A, lunch, and then later the pop-up for the K-Swiss launch, which we're both rocking. Tyler's not rocking it, but he's rocking other K-Swiss. I'm impressed by that. I gotta run to the I'm going to the pop-up. have some free passes for the conference I'm speaking at. Anybody, yeah? Anybody else need a pass for the conference today? Good.
Damn.
Good. I'll get me out of here. Thank you.
So, what are the three most important things to keep in mind for someone who wants to build a public-facing personal brand?
Number one, you better be a good person.
Oh,
You better recognize that if you have skeletons, you better own them or know that they're going to be vulnerable. Because that ship has sailed. It's something I started talking about in 2008 in Crush It. It obviously is now very real because of all the stuff that's happened with the Me Too movement, which is phenomenal. That's number one. Number two, you have to have empathy for your audience. If you're the kind of person that gets upset that Johnny Pants 99 says you're ugly or you're stupid, you might as well close up shop now. I have empathy for people that think I'm a snake oil salesman or full of crap or not good or who knows, or I curse too much. Like, you have to have empathy because that's what allows you to move forward instead of being combative with the audience, which is your ultimate asset. Number three, you have to respect context. The same picture does not work across Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, and you have to have understanding of the context of the psychology of the person when they're on that platform to make the content pop and resonate. So the religion of context, not just content, is essential. The single biggest reason I maintain Gary Vee is to be a doer. I mean, to me, my personal brand is about top of the funnel awareness, but way more importantly, I'm a practitioner. I post on Instagram. Like, I reply to DMs.
Yeah, you got it.
I have to, listen, you have to know what you're doing.
What's some advice you'd give to somebody that just doesn't know what they want to do right now?
Just speak your truth, right? Speak your truth, like including that you have depression. Or
Truth
that you know what you're
and
doing, or
confidence.
that you're really good at cutting hair, or that you love the Smurfs. I think the truth is the biggest win, right? And I think that, for me, that is really played out in our society today. There's no more hiding. The internet is all-encompassing, and nobody's going to be able to front. Like, if you're not motivated and optimistic, motivational content's not going to work for you. You know, if you aren't thoughtful and smart about, sports, you're not going to win. You can only win on two things: the thing that you understand the best, or the thing that you're most passionate or authentic about. Those are the only two winning formulas. I think too many people want to fake it till they make it, or project someone they're not, which is why 99% of people lose.
Social media is being
This is where I kind of agree with what he's saying, but because it rhymes and because I say it to myself, fake it till I make it, and until someone teaches me otherwise. You don't want to be a dick about it, and you don't want to act like you know everything. But if you converse and talk like you do know something, maybe not every single thing to the T, but if you try and take the conversation in a direction of diving into more knowledge, and someone just smiles and nods, and you're, talking about shit is incorrect, then they don't have what you need. They don't have what you want. When you have a conversation with someone and you try and step it up a level and test out your knowledge or test out the things you think are true, if they engage with that and say, well, part of what you said is correct, but here's where it's wrong, that's my version of faking it till you make it. You're never going to get anywhere without someone teaching you something. The question is, or the trick is, how do you engage someone in such a way where they want to teach you? But I guess the first question is, how do you find someone who's willing to teach you? How do you find someone who has the knowledge? You just have to interact with them. That's where, from my perspective, and for me, how I started doing what I want to become successful at, I didn't have the confidence. I convinced myself that if money was no object, how would you act? And that's how I carried myself. That's how I talked to people. Not as a tool, not as someone who knows more, who has not that person, because my intent is to teach people, but in order to do that, I need to learn. So my intent is not to come off as a jackass and be annoying. So I fake it knowing that, if that makes sense. Hopefully.
Influencer, what do you think is next when it comes to brands cutting through in a very fragmented market when it comes
Voice.
to digital?
Voice.
All right.
I'm obsessed. I have not seen anything that reminds me
And
of the
what's cool is this was March of 2018, so almost a year ago. And I haven't been watching a lot of his videos lately, but I have noticed, I don't know, I just know the voice thing has come up a few times. So to hear him talk about it with the same kind of assurity and conviction a year ago, I'd almost be curious to go back in his archives and find when did he first mention voice. I don't know, it'd be interesting to find out.
that works on top of it.
Yeah.
The way I feel about Google, Apple Pod, and Alexa we have not felt the apps on top of the voice thing yet. In a lot of scenarios, voice is a far more effective, efficient medium to deliver information. When I'm brushing my teeth, it's better for me to listen to my day. When I'm driving, it's better for me to listen or commute. So to me, I care about communication. I'm not bright enough or as smart as my partner in crime here to understand kind of the frameworks, the technologies, the inventions that are needed to. What I'm very good at is understanding consumer behavior and what we're going to do with those things. And so for me, voice is emerging because of AI and technology advances by some of the biggest internet companies in the world, and that's why I'm very passionate about it. The internet's the highway. The big companies are the toll booths. You've got to pay those toll booths, but you have to be very strategic in how you pay. Facebook and Instagram and Google are great for me because I look at them as frenemies. They're places where I can get awareness, but I don't want to be at the mercy of them, which is why I'm prolific across all platforms, because I'm diversifying. Media companies should be in trouble if they put all their eggs in the Facebook bucket. That is ludicrous strategy. Where's your podcast? Where's your original show? Where's your vlog? Where's your email list? Where's your CRM? Where's your text messaging platform? I wish people understood how hard it is to have a business that does $1 million.
It's not sexy. It's so far from being sexy.
I would also add the part that I'm most concerned about, which is that it's awfully lonely. And I think most people, you have to be unbelievably strong emotionally to be able to deal with loneliness. And in a world where I think we're talking more about depression and mental health, I want to make that a bigger part of the conversation because I think it leads to a bad place. It is a very lonely sport. Because not only are you lonely and you're responsible for everything, everybody's watching and judging. Your parents, your best friends, everybody. That's lonely. Hello.
How are you? Lance. First of all, nice to
Such a
meet
pleasure.
you.
How are
Thank
you?
you so much for
Hey,
Chris. We're the
Chris.
video team.
Nice to meet you.
Do you have any music requests?
Do you have any Gunna?
Or what are we on Spotify now? Or?
Actually, I'm going to flip it up. What about some Nipsey Hussle?
What is it?
Nipsey. Yep, there he is.
He's going in.
Yep. It's right there.
Arms crossed.
Oh my God.
I put on the portraits and the expressions. All right, perfect.
Being influential means that when you do something, meaning you say something, you wear something, you write something, you act on something, other people are affected by that and want to be inspired to then also do that as well or some variation thereof. So I think it's somebody who has an impact on other people at scale and influences, creates an action from their own actions. As far as what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a wantrepreneur, I mean, look, you know, entrepreneurs are cool right now. It has a moment. This is not something that we grew up with even 20 years ago. And so what's happening is like anything that's cool, rappers, athletes, or anything else, there's a lot of young people that aspire to be what is cool. Entrepreneurship is cool, which leads to a lot of people that want to become that. You know, I think there's a lot of cynicism a lot of times on the inner city of like, oh, you think the only way out is being a rapper or an athlete. I think that's happening with white America and the rest of the world right now around entrepreneurship. Everybody thinks that's their way out. Unlike a lot of other things, when you claim that you're an entrepreneur, everybody starts watching, from your parents to your friends to the world, and everybody will watch you fail. And you have to be very emotionally strong to deal with that loss. That is very different than getting bad grades in school. That is very different than you get fired from a job, you blame the boss. Your business fails, it's your fault, and there's no escaping it. I'm very concerned about the post game of this era of people getting into depression and even worse, which is why I'm talking about self-awareness and truths that make people uncomfortable. It's not fun for me to say that 98% of people out there aren't going to succeed. It doesn't make me feel cool and them not cool. It's just something we need to talk about so we're prepared for the ramifications of the glorifying of the entrepreneurial journey. What up? How are you? Good to see you.
You get sober home.
Things are good, bro.
What do you think of my little pod here,
It's
dude?
fucking awesome.
Pretty badass, isn't it?
Oh, you got wrestling figures?
We got everything, man. This is
Fucking Macho Man. That's what's up.
That's what's up, homies.
Macho Man,
I
baby.
went to school one of these short buses, man. I was in special ed.
I love it.
Learning disabilities. Now I go around and help people.
That's really fucking rad. You gotta understand, I was really selling stuff at a very young age. I'm talking first grade.
Shit.
Like even looking at this brings back memories. Like buy the bag at a discount, sell them for a quarter. You know, like, you know, so I, long before entrepreneurship was cool, you know, long before I had anybody to look up to, it was in me.
All
In the
right.
same way that like people like
For
sang
finito.
or wrote poems, like it was deeply in me.
Yeah, so this was back
very
in
early on, I was
March
like,
9th, 2018.
fuck school. Like I'm not
Check
gonna
it
win
out
this
if you
game.
want to.
You know, I was
See
super
ya.
into the social parts.